Welcome to the ISO with myself, your host, Dan Dickau on the Gonzaga Nation Media Network. We are previewing the opening game of the WCC slate with Pepperdine Associate Head Coach Ken Bone, who's very well connected to the Gonzaga program as well. If you don't know, he spent a couple years as a special assistant to the program. Coach, thanks for joining.
You bet. Glad to be with you.
Well, you guys have had an interesting year. You guys have had some really nice stretches. Unfortunately, you guys have had a couple stretches where I wish you could probably wish you could hit the reboot button at tip-off. You're 7-7, but WCC play, you can scratch the slate clean and start fresh. What's the outlook around the program for you guys?
Well, it seems like it's been the same for 5 years, with the exception of the COVID year when we ended up being the number 3 seed in the conference tournament, and with Kobe Ross and Kessler Edwards had a pretty good team. But what I mean by that is we continue to be young when everybody else is older and bringing in grad transfers and different transfers that are incorporated into their programs and really helping them out. We have not had very good luck. And the one guy we brought in this year, he got hurt just last week in Hawaii in a game, and he's done for the season. And so we're young again. We do have some good individual talent. We're learning to play together. But as you well know, Dan, it takes time. And when we say it takes time, sometimes it takes 2-3 years for certain guys really to fit into a program and understand their role and how to play and where they play into that. But we are making strides. I'm not sure we've played a great game yet, and maybe we won't, but we've played parts of games really well, especially on the offensive end.
Yeah, when I look at your roster and when I've watched you guys at times this year, offensively, you've got some talented players. Maxwell Lewis showed flashes last year. He's become more consistent from what I've seen this year. Houston Millette, Mike Mitchell Jr., I really like. And then your freshman, Javon Porter, is very talented. What are the key things that you guys try to do to get those guys opportunities to jumpstart a good night for you guys?
We do like to play fast. Coach Romar's had great success over the years of having his teams push it, get up and down the floor, but you got to be careful when you're going up against a team like Gonzaga. And I think they're I'm not sure what they are nationwide as far as their push or their pace, but we've got to be real careful in that that's what we want to be. That's who we would like to, that's how we would like to play. But are we quite there yet? Not every game, that's for sure. So we want to get it out and go and give kids an opportunity to be isolated in the open court and be able to free them up for shots, because we do have some guys that can really shoot the three. But again, we got to put the brakes on at times more often than we probably want, but we need to put the brakes on and try to execute our half-court offense.
Non-conference WCC league play, is there a difference in how game prep works for you and your staff? I know many times that can be the case because you've seen these coaches and their programs year over year, and you have a better feel. So maybe you have to go deeper into your own bag of tricks as a staff as you prepare. What is the preparation like?
You're exactly right. I think there's a lot of similarities in preparation, and we've played a preseason schedule that fit us really well, or fits who we're about to play in the WCC. But going up against Gonzaga is different than going up against a couple other teams in our conference. So speaking to you and speaking of today's game with Gonzaga, that high-low deal's hard to handle when you got a guy like Timmy, and then you got a guy like Watson, who, yeah, is he going to stop and pop and shoot a three all the time like maybe Holmgren would have if you backed off? No. But he understands the passing angles and how to get it in there and when to drive and where to drive. So because of his experience in the program, he's a really good piece to that high-low action. And then he can be on the other end of it too. I mean, Timmy can have the ball up top, and all of a sudden Watson's down low, or Ben Gregg as of late is doing a good job posting up, being strong. So using that as an example, we've worked against the high-low a little bit, but this is a whole new situation against Gonzaga. So we go back to, okay, what did we do last year? What did we do the year before in those games? Did we have any success? If we did, how did we do it? And then do we have the personnel now to try to combat that?
Well, Coach, I appreciate the time. I know it's game day morning, so you got a lot of responsibilities, got to get ready, but always appreciate catching a little bit more information from you. So thanks for joining.
You bet, Dan. Have a great